Welcome back to the Elite Body Performance Podcast. Today we're shooting this in Dubai at Warehouse 4 Podcast Studio, and we're here with Vicky, who is a member of our team, and she's absolutely crushed the transformation. But it's not just the physical transformation for Vicky that's been really impressive and I guess inspiring, but it's also what she's been able to do and where she's taken that outside of just the body transformation. So we brought Vicky onto the podcast to just have a bit of a chat about it. So Vicky, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Getting used to the Scouse accent still myself, but no, really good to have you on. So before we get into it, let's go through your story a little bit. But I want to take it right back. So kind of a little bit before coaching, before that, in the corporate world, and I guess even growing up. Give us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, cool. So I guess I've always been into sport, very similar to yourself, football.
Yeah.
Playing since I was about 7. Right up until I was about 21. So I would say that definitely gave me a competitive edge. That's definitely where I've learned how to be competitive. I was always small, skinny, one of those always got bullied off the ball and got kicked a lot. It definitely toughened me up. And then I would say between the years of 16 and 21, where I was at like centre of excellences, is I suppose what that was like the age where my mates started going out, they started drinking, started going to Ibiza, and that was, I feel like, where I had to really like cultivate this discipline.
Yeah, of course. So do you feel like your discipline started when you almost could have got more distracted between that fragile age of 16, 21?
Yeah, 100%. That's where I started seeing, like, so there was a lot of girls in my team who got scouted for the likes of Liverpool, the likes of Everton, and you seeing them at 16, just be like, yeah, got a fella now, see you later.
Yeah. So what about after that? So you obviously stepped into the corporate world.
I did. So through uni, obviously played for the uni team, was playing for, I think it was Preston at the time. That made it a little bit more difficult when I did graduate uni, because it was like, I got my first job in the solicitors when I was 21, 22. So unfortunately, women's football at the time wasn't very well paid. Or in fact, we didn't pay at all. We had to pay to play, to be honest. So that made it a little bit more difficult, like driving from Liverpool city centre, not getting sub for petrol or anything. I wasn't on a lot of money at the time. I think I was on about 14 grand a year or something.
Yeah.
And then obviously having to pay out my own pocket to drive, there and back 3 or 4 times a week, made it a little bit more difficult. So to be honest, that was when I think I came back to a local team, but it wasn't as high standard. And then, you know what, after playing for like 15, 16 years, I ended up hating it in the end of packing it in.
Yeah. No, it was quite funny. I can actually relate to that story as well, because when I first turned 17, I started playing first team football. And at the time, I was a gym apprentice. So I was earning about £3.20 an hour. And I was getting paid for football. It weren't a lot.
Yeah.
But I had to drive. It was about 50 minutes there, 50 minutes back. And that was 3 times a week. And if you had an away game on a weekend, that could be a couple of hours away.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'd have a coach. But if I had to drive it, I'm thinking, right, I'm earning £3 an hour with my job. I've got to drive about 45 minutes to get to the gym that I was working at. So then all my petrol was going there. And the small wage I got from football didn't cover the petrol. So I was like, I'm going to have to run there.
At least you got a wage.
Yeah, no, it was nice. It probably seems to yourself, you would do it for free though, right? Just because you enjoy it. Then you went into a solicitor?
Yeah, so I was training to be a solicitor. Unfortunately, in law, once you've graduated, that doesn't mean you're qualified.
Right, yeah.
Law in uni is more about like theory, and then you have to do a master's to learn the practical, and then you have to like try and get a training contract. It's a long.
Yeah, a good friend of mine, he's just graduated his master's from sport law, and he's trying to get a paralegal role, and he says it's just impossible to find it. And I actually have a client of mine, she's a paralegal, but she had to go to Jersey. So you got UK, London, and she had to go across to Jersey to get a paralegal role, because she just getting that role straight out of uni. I suppose there's so many people that want it and not enough jobs.
It's tough. That's another I was going to say. So law as well is very competitive, like very dog eat dog is very competitive. I wouldn't say I was lucky to get, like, you basically have to start at the bottom. It's not just like you go, it's kind of like maybe you're just walking into a 30 grand a year job.
Yeah, of course.
There's like, you start at the fucking bottom, you know,
Absolutely.
Almost like admin.
Yeah.
And then I did work my way up, to be fair. Landed a job in a Liverpool firm. Was there for maybe 2 or 3 years. Obviously worked my way up, but still, until you're qualified, you're not getting paid. So
yeah, and Joe, I find quite funny as well. All these job roles, they always say you need experience to come in. Like, I'm trying to get experience. This is what I'm here for. But no, absolutely. So after that, you obviously became a coach. What was that transition? Why did you go from solicitor, working your way up? So obviously you went in a really good place with that, and I suppose your career was bright. What made you take the risk? Because it's a risk, right? You go from, right, I've got a solid job, I've got a law degree, I'm a solicitor, I'm high up. But now I'm going to take the jump and risk to go down my own route, my own business. What was that trigger that made you do that?
So I would say, I moved firms, I ended up moving firms. I went into conveyancing, which is property law. And the trigger for me was looking at the people around me who I was supposed to be aspiring to be like.
Right.
Overweight, miserable, toxic, like hated their life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think I've seen any of them smile once. And these are like apparently, supposed to be the executive directors of the firm.
Yeah, of course.
Do
you reckon that maybe stems from them completely neglecting themselves for their career?
Law. Well, don't get me wrong, I've not had experience in any other offices or anything like that, but the 5 years I was in that career, was just the complete opposite of health.
And you know what? It wouldn't just be in your office. I mean, we've got members that say to us all the time how they were in that corporate role and they did neglect their health, and then they're going into their job, but they're almost fucking tired walking from the car park to the office. Then they've got to take a seat and have a rest and then have 15 coffees in a day just to make sure they can get through it. And then they're fucking shitting every 5 minutes. It is, worldwide. So did you almost look at it and think, if I want to take this anywhere, I kind of need to make sure that I'm looking after me before I look after
100%.
my career?
100%. And obviously health and fitness has always been important to me. I had to be able to run around the football pitch for 90 minutes. Yeah. Even when I quit football, I started boxing. That was hard. That's a lot harder than football. You do boxing.
Yeah, I do my side,
Yeah. Wow.
It's fucking difficult.
yeah, and at least in football, you can half get away with making a mistake or two. We've got a team. Yeah. In boxing, you make a mistake, that's it.
The thing I do like about boxing though is although it's extremely intense, it's short period, extreme intensity. With football, you got 90 minutes. You got it's almost like fartlek training, like speed play, right? So you're sprinting, you're jogging, you're walking. But if you're in a ring or if you're in a cage, you're going. And it's the same thing. If I don't know if you was ever sparring when you was boxing, but you're in the ring. It's not like you can go, bro, I'm just going to chill for a minute. You can get face, right? And I think, do you know what? That does teach extreme discipline. What would you say, you enjoy more? I suppose, obviously, you play football more, right? But what do you enjoy more?
So obviously went through a period of hating football. Didn't even watch it. Didn't watch it for 5 years. Didn't have a clue. If you asked me who was won the Prem, I wouldn't have a clue. I literally I think I was just so engrossed in it when I was younger. I was almost saying, don't fucking talk about football. What do I enjoy more? I honestly, looking back, I don't know how I put my body through what I put it through during those years I boxed for 3 or 4 years. Yeah. The thought of training like that and how I'm
you worried?
Yeah, it's intense. But obviously, had a few fights and stuff, didn't I? There's nothing better than that winning feeling.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. And I think as well, even when you're doing something boxing or football or just training very, very, very hard, it does teach extreme discipline. Whether that's training resistance in the gym or whether that's doing boxing or football, you come away from that, your discipline is so extreme that when you go into career or you go into the office, that discipline kind of comes across. I know for a fact, if it weren't for the training I'd done when I was younger for football, I wouldn't have as much discipline when it comes to eating, or as much discipline to get up when the alarm goes off instead of hitting snooze. These things are good habits, and it's repetition, right? But building that kind of resilience through training, I find transpires massively to career habits and Do you find that's been a big thing for you as well?
100%. I say it all the time. Fitness and business is so similar. Like, the what's the analogy I always use is we use it a lot in our family, the Chinese bamboo tree.
Yeah, of course.
My favorite analogy.
For those who don't know about the Chinese bamboo story, like if you get Chinese bamboo, and it like how many years it does? 5 years, it has zero growth, and then like in 6 weeks it grows 80 feet.
Yeah. But you have to like still water the plant, and you have to still, make sure it gets sunlight. You have to look after the seed, and then what did he say about like the farmer? If the farmer goes and digs the plant up, it's gonna like ruin all the progress. So you have to just keep watering it for 5 years, and like there's still no growth, and then it's almost like if you give up on the plant,
it's still gonna grow. Yeah. And it grows 80 feet in 6 weeks. I think that teaches the biggest lesson I think from that story is delayed gratification. Like, I think everyone wants that instant gratification. Like, I do 5 sit-ups and like, is it there yet? Like, it doesn't fucking work like that. But I think the one thing that working out and I suppose transforming your body teaches better than anything else is delayed gratification. I think if you've got delayed gratification, you can achieve fucking anything. Because in Korea, it's not like you go into the office, make one sale, and all of a sudden you've got 4 promotions, right? You got to make 1, 2, 20, 50, and then you start to get noticed, and then you go up. But every single day you wake up. And I actually heard, I think it was Kevin Hart say it, the hardest thing in the world is to wake up, graft the entire day, have nothing to show for it, do the same thing the next day, and then the next day. But that delayed gratification is what makes people that are extremely high performing. That's what makes them high performing, right? Yeah.
And there's like, obviously I'm obsessed with Messi and Ronaldo and whatever. What's that? I seen a meme and it was like Messi's overnight success, but it was showing him like when he was like 10.
It's the 25-year overnight success. It's fucking ridiculous. But on that, so obviously we've been working together now for about 6 or so months. What made you join the team? What made you kind of reach out and go, I want to take this to a new level?
Do you know what? I'm a very like think I know it all kind of. Obviously I'm a PT myself, right? Everything you give me, I could 100% do myself.
Absolutely.
The only other coach I've had is Steve.
Yeah.
So when I was hiring a coach, I'd been looking for a coach. There was a few that I suppose I'm a little bit not skeptical of coaches, but it's just like when I see fitness coaches, I'm just like
if you say so.
Kind of whatever. But I think why I joined you, so obviously I've known you for a long time.
Yeah, of course.
Trust you, and the reason I joined was because I wanted to improve my performance.
Yeah.
I didn't really know anybody. There was obviously other football, like football specific. Our program is like football specific, right? There was other coaches out there, but I didn't know them or trust them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
So I knew I was going to join you for ages, wasn't I? I was like, I'm going to join you. Just waiting until I've got all these holidays and whatever. And I suppose the main goal was to improve athletic performance.
Yeah. And what have you found since you joined? Like, did you improve athletic performance or?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. What have you found?
100%. Stronger.
Yeah.
Definitely stronger on the pitch. So just for the audience, by the way, I do actually play football again.
Yeah, you do play again. Yeah.
I had a long break, but I'm back now. Obviously playing Dubai, it's a lot different. I'm not gonna lie, I used to think I was like a quick winger until I play against 16-year-olds now, and they literally smoke me. So maybe we need to work on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously improved athletic performance. Like, yeah, I can last the 90 minutes now without like, obviously in the heat as well, it's hard. Obviously scoring goals.
Yeah, so on that, like Vicky obviously lives in the desert, right? So she lives in Dubai. So playing football in Dubai is different to playing football in the UK. And I mean, kickoffs are like 8 p.m, right?
8, 9 p.m, yeah.
8, 9 p.m. So even like, you got the heat and it's still humid as fuck at that time of night, right? But beyond that, to be able to go through a full working day and then at 8 p.m, playing football again, like that's not easy to do. So being able to last 90 minutes at 8 p.m. after a full working day, that's a big fucking win. Like that's very difficult to do. Like lasting 90 minutes isn't an easy thing anyway, but to do that after at 8 p.m. in the humid heat, that's incredible.
Now you put it like that, thanks.
Yeah. One thing I've also noticed as well is from kind of reverting back to strength, the PBs that you're getting is ridiculous. Like every workout that, we're up there and it's like, oh, another 4, another 5? And I know obviously with your work, obviously you're very busy as well, which we'll touch on. But how do you kind of almost find like working on your athletic performance, working on your health? You know, I think nutrition was a big one for us as well. You know, I think we've always been very convenient with nutrition, which we still are, right? But it's just also optimizing, you know, our caloric intake, the food volume, you know, our nutrients. But how do you find that the lifestyle that you live now improving athletic performance? What do you find that's almost had on your day-to-day in business?
So what impact has improving athletic performance had? I think because it's such a habit, like I'm so competitive with myself. Obviously there is days when I'm like, there's nothing I can think of worse now than I can't be asked, even though the gym's only downstairs, right? A few floors down. But it's almost like I have to go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not an option for me not to go to the gym. Even on my worst weeks, that I'm like, when I message you, I'm like, I've had the worst week ever, but I've still gone to the gym 4 times, or I've still trained 4 times.
Yeah.
Like, for me to operate at these levels, obviously I told you the kinds of numbers that we're doing, and we've pulled in, obviously being really busy with collective as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I'm responsible for other clients who are doing similar to what you do, right?
Yeah.
I'm responsible for other people. It's almost like these people are looking up to me.
Absolutely.
And that's how I felt when I obviously ran my fitness coaching business as well. That's what it was about. It was like, this isn't about me. This is about being the best that I can be for the people around me.
Absolutely.
It's not fair. Obviously, Shannon relies on me. Steve relies on me.
Yeah.
If I'm not at my best, if I let myself go.
Absolutely. So for those listening as well, like run them through just a little bit about your role. So obviously you got collective closes, you got your head ticket closes. Run them through just a little bit, just to kind of give them an understanding, because it's not like it's easy for you, right? It's not like you just do a 9 to 5, and then when you finish at 5, you can just put down to the gym and then come up and watch Netflix. Like you're a busy fucker, right? So run them through, what does your role entail? What does it look like?
Yeah, so me and Reese are actually colleagues.
Yeah.
And also obviously he's my coach as well. For collective coaching, do they know about collective coaching? Have you spoke about that before?
Not really, no.
Really?
No.
Okay, so we are basically head of sales for a fitness business mentorship. Take calls all day, you know what, consultation calls are like. I suppose for fitness, they're probably just as deep.
Yeah.
It's like they're quite emotionally taxing.
Yeah.
So I'm on them all day. I also mentor fitness coaches.
Yeah.
Who are, I wouldn't even say just starting out. It's like these guys are doing big numbers.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're over a certain amount of money per month, and they're relying on me to help them grow to even bigger numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important that I'm like switched on, especially, you know, Monday, Tuesday, we've got check-in days.
Yeah.
I also run my own marketing agency on the side with Shannon. So that we launched in January this year, and that's just took off. Like we didn't expect it. Absolutely. We expected it to be big, but we didn't expect it to be as big as
what it's been already inside 4 months, right?
4 months, yeah. So there's a lot. It's not just like as you said there. It's not a 9-5. It's more like if we're talking UK time, 6 a.m. UK time, I start work. I finish work at 6 p.m.
Yeah,
UK time.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's what 9 at the moment, 9 p.m. Dubai, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. So you are literally, but not only is that taxing because the amount of hours you're doing, but it's also like, it's not like you're just sitting there just kind of watching the clock. Like it's like you just mentioned, you're responsible for a lot of clients who are very, very high up in their business and have a lot of pressure. You're responsible for your clients that are running very, very successful businesses. You're then responsible for your own business. You're then responsible for taking calls and operating within collective closes, another business. So you've got a lot of responsibility. Do you find that almost the journey has helped you relieve pressure or deal with stress better?
My fitness journey? Yeah, 100%. Like, instead of, like, so sometimes I don't even have time to eat. last week I like completely forgot to block out my lunch, but it's like any spare hour that I'll get is obviously I would spend it in the only thing I block out is the gym.
Yeah.
It's almost like that even this week. So I've booked in a couple of classes because football's not on this week, so I've made sure I've booked in my classes. They are
fitness in,
priority. Overeating, maybe I should change that.
That's, you know what, that's our biggest challenge, is getting your food in. Right, you know, we need to block out more time for that. But again, I get it, you know, like there is, I guess, a lot of coaches that would say, oh yeah, but just block it out, it's that easy. But you know, I get it. Like a lot of the time you go, I want to block out time for food, but I'm busy. Like I've got calls back to back, or I've got this, and this. And I think that's where, you know, for those listening, the most important thing, and you know, we went through a period of time where it was questions always is prep, like prepping your food, prepping your nutrition, and having that ready, whether that's a meal prep company, whether you follow a meal plan and everything's just on autopilot, or you get a Ninja and leave it in a box and actually open it. You know, these kind of things, they're so important, because for a high performance person like yourself who runs a business, who's within another business doing extremely highly important tasks for other businesses, like that, having everything on clockwork is so important. And I think one thing that I've definitely seen in yourself that's grown amazingly recently is your resilience. Like you say, you block out the gym 4 times a week no matter what. Like that is your time. And that takes a lot of discipline, because it, you know, instant gratification would be, I'm going to take this call because it's going to make me more money. Delayed gratification is, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to improve my health, I'm going to look and feel great. So then the next 35 calls I do take, I'm optimizing it an extra 20% because my focus is better, my productivity is better. Did you ever find like before you'd almost kind of get that midday like almost a little bit lethargic and tired, or do you find like you've been able to just graft exactly the same at 9 a.m. as you have at 5-6 p.m.?
One thing, I don't even think I've told you, actually, I've stopped drinking coffee.
Yeah. Kind of caffeine,
So I've completely stopped that in the morning.
I need to stop.
Yeah, do you know the only, like, I don't drink coffee anymore, and I am, I would say, able to operate the same all the way through. Like I don't even realise, it's like, I'm like, oh shit.
That's a big win, because, you know, I think a lot of people do rely on caffeine because it is a drug, right? It's an addictive substance. I know I'm addicted. I don't have one in the first 2 hours awaken, but after 2 hours, yes, I fucking do. But, you know, if for you to say that you don't have, because again, scientifically, coffee works, right? You know, the science behind coffee and caffeine, it does give you more energy. But for you to cut out coffee altogether and have these same, if not better, energy levels now than what you did before, that's massive. That's really, really fucking big. And I mean, to be fair, I have it more now as more of like a psychological thing. Like if I have caffeine, I'm kind of locked in. It's like my thing. If I have like a coffee by my side, it's like, this is productivity hour. So even if I don't drink it, if it's just there, I know this is time for me to get creative. So I only ever have caffeine when I'm doing creative tasks. So like I'll do my 2-hour morning work block, which is more so putting out fires. And then if I'm thinking, right, I need to sit back and get creative and think, coffee's there and I'm cracking on. But that's a really big one as well. So for anybody that's on the fence of working towards themselves, their health and fitness, what would your advice to them be?
On the fence about working towards their health and fitness, and they're a high performer?
Or getting a coach.
If they are somebody who's looking to excel in their career, or they're looking to, you know, improve their business, you cannot operate at high levels living on coffee, not looking after yourself. It just doesn't happen. Like it's just not going to happen. You can maybe do it to a certain extent, a certain level.
Yeah, of course.
But you're never going to
break the ceiling.
Yeah, you're never going to get into those, you know, those 1% increments, which is, I would say, the difference between, you know, people who turn over 1 million, people who turn over 200. Yeah. Like,
absolutely.
Is that 1%?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's obviously coming from yourself, who runs businesses, who's responsible for other businesses, who's worked within the corporate world inside the law firms. So that's coming from someone who's kind of seen it at every angle. You've seen it within the corporate world. You've experienced it within the corporate world. You've seen it within business. You've experienced it within business. And you've kind of seen that in all levels as well, right? So that's definitely important advice. Because like you say, it's the 1%. Yeah. It's, you know, what's going to take somebody from where they were to where they are won't take them from where they are to where they want to go, right? Because you can get to a certain level, like you say, you know, a certain extent of career growth without you know, just relying on coffee without focusing on your health and fitness, but then to go from where you are, a lot of people think, oh, I got this far without focusing on my health. It's like, yeah, but what gets you there won't get you where you need to go, right? So that's where the lifestyle changes.
Yeah, like, you're never going to reach your full potential.
No.
Like, your potential might be high, yeah, all right, sound, like, you might be, you know, you might have had a few promotions or whatever, but you will never reach your full potential.
No, I agree. Well, Vicky, thank you so much for your time today. For the people listening, where can they find you? And for the coaches listening, when can they get in contact with you and what for?
Instagram is Vicky_collective closes. That's the only place I am, to be honest, at the moment. Yeah, if you guys want to check my page out.
Absolutely. So guys, go check out Vicky. She posts a lot of value as well to do with collective closes. So especially one for the fitness entrepreneurs listening, definitely check out Vicky. And for those listening who aren't into fitness, go check out her page as well, because she posts a lot about her health and fitness, even though she don't do like fitness coaching, where I think, you know, the fitness side thing has changed Vicky's life so much. She also posts about it, like when you get your PBs, and it's inspiring. So if you need extra inspiration, I'll definitely go over to Vicky_collective closes and check it out. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And Vicky, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.